Hello, I'm just making a syllabus review video. My name is Mary Ward. I'm the Assistant Professor of Graphic Design at MSU Northern, and I'm looking forward to this class. I'm looking forward to the fall. It's kind of a little different this time because I'm combining online students and the face-to-face students in one Brightspace shell. So you guys will be sharing the same shell. But I'll kind of go over how that's going to work in the syllabus later on here. So this is Graphic Design 231, the Graphic Design Applications course. Fall semester 2022, online and face-to-face. So the face-to-face meeting time is Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30 to 1:50 p.m. in Cowan Hall, room 112. It's worth 3 credits. That's my name. Here's my phone number. You can text me. That's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. My email here, it's the EDU email, or you could email me in Brightspace. So the course description, basically this course is the fundamentals. It goes over the fundamentals of graphic design. We'll cover aesthetic rules. We'll cover software skills that the industry experts use. You'll learn the basic process of design and layout. You'll learn the creative process, composition, typography, color, some things about copyright, propaganda. We do cover a little propaganda, just briefly. You'll gain some knowledge on the 3 main software programs used in graphic design: Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. So those are all Adobe software products. So with the skills learned from this course, you should be able to comfortably construct layouts using InDesign. You should be able to use Photoshop to edit and manipulate photos, and you'll be able to make like logos or vector images using Adobe Illustrator. So you'll get comfortable in all 3 of those, comfortable enough to do some damage, I guess. So I'm just going to kind of go over the face-to-face and online blended course that I'm developing here. So the Brightspace course that you go into for this class will include both online students and face-to-face students. If you signed up for the face-to-face course, I will be expecting you to show up to class. If you happen to miss class, the Brightspace course will include everything you need to complete assignments and tasks. So you should be okay if you miss some class, but definitely come back to class because I do want you to come to class if you signed up for face-to-face. Face-to-face students will use the Brightspace shell just the same as the online students, except when it comes to discussions, software's demo, and then also project critiques. We'll do those during class time, face-to-face, in person. Online students will use the discussions area in Brightspace for class discussions and project critiques. And then for software demos, the online students watch pre-recorded videos instead of, watching me in class. They'll watch videos. And both face-to-face and online students will need to check the Brightspace shell daily, and then just follow the directions in the weekly modules in the content area of the online course shell in Brightspace. So both the online and face-to-face will need to use Brightspace quite a bit for this class. There's just a few small differences, like I noted, with critiques, software demos, and discussions are just handled a little bit differently depending on if you're online or face-to-face. So with online students, there's a few extra requirements. One requirement having to do with your computer. Your computer needs to be powerful enough to run the Adobe software. Adobe software is a very, robust software, and you have to have certain system requirements built into your computer to be able to run it successfully. So online students will need to make sure that you have access to a computer with the system requirements for running the Adobe software. So you'll have to check your computer and make sure. If you click on this here, it will tell you what the system requirements are to run Adobe Photoshop. So it'll tell you what processor you should have if you have a Windows machine. Recommended is 16 gigabytes of RAM at least. Graphics card, something similar to this. Mac, you have to have at least these operating systems, 16 gigabytes or more of RAM. this type of processor. So, the processor, the RAM, the operating system, that kind of thing. Space on your hard drive, sort of matters, but not as much as RAM and the processor that you have. And the probably the operating system as well. If you have a really old computer, your operating system is probably outdated, and you're probably going to have some problems with an outdated operating system. If you don't know where to find your system specs for your computer, the requirements, you need to know 16 gigabytes of RAM, those kinds of things. You actually can watch this video to do it on a Mac, to find it on a Mac. Or you can watch this video to locate your PC system specs if you have a PC or a Windows machine. So you can find that here. So you need to check your computer if you're online to see if it's powerful enough to run the programs. If you do not have access to a computer with enough power to run at least Adobe Photoshop, which is the largest and most powerful software program we will use in this class, you might want to consider switching to face-to-face if we have room in the room. Sometimes students drop. I think the class is pretty much full now, but students do drop the first couple of days, so it doesn't mean that you still couldn't come in and use the computer. If that's not an option for you to attend face-to-face or switch to face-to-face from online, if you live in Havre, Montana, you can use the Mac computers in the library on campus. So you can check here for library hours. You can also come into the Mac lab anytime between Monday and Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. It should be open. And that's in Cowan Hall 112. If you're a graphic design student, if you're signed up as a graphic design student, I do have laptops available to check out that are powerful enough to run the software. Ask me about them if you feel like you need one. I usually don't give them to first-year students. I usually give it to sophomores, but if you talk to me on a case-by-case basis, we can figure out what we can do for you. Also, just a quick tip, oftentimes desktop computers are more powerful than laptops. So if you have a desktop around, check the desktop as well as the laptop, because the desktop more than likely is going to be more powerful. And like I said, let me know if you have trouble locating a computer that can run the required software. If you live out of town and you just can't find a computer, it's going to be really hard for you to take this class unless you can borrow one from a friend or something of that nature. So there's software requirements for the online students as well. You need an Adobe subscription to Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. In this order, we'll use Photoshop first, then we'll switch to Illustrator, and then to InDesign. You do not need to purchase this software immediately. We probably start using this, I believe we start using Photoshop in around week 3 of this course. And Adobe does offer a month-to-month subscription plan. And I will remind you when you need to actually get the software. Students do get a discount. So just let me know if you're having issues figuring out the software when you go to get that downloaded on your computer. Here's a link to the software, student link. You should get a discount. I think it's $20 a month. And you'll have to switch between Photoshop, which is what our first project is in, and then we'll do Illustrator after that. So you can switch from Photoshop to Illustrator, and then Illustrator to InDesign at the end, because our last two projects are in InDesign. There are no required materials for face-to-face students. If you want to get the Adobe products for yourself so that you can, if you have a laptop, you want to work at home on your projects, if you want to get the software for yourself, you can. If you, like I said, if you have a nice laptop that can run this stuff at home, then there's no reason why, you can't work at home a little bit on your projects and make them extra great. But it's not required. If you're coming into the Mac Lab on the campus, on the northern campus, then you should have a computer that will run the program, and you should have the programs at your fingertips. So grades will be based on the following. Quizzes, assignments, discussions is 50%. So that's basically everything that isn't a project goes into this pool of 50%. Photoshop self-portrait project, 10%. Logo project is 10%. Business card project, 10%. InDesign poster project, 20%. So this is mostly a project-based course. It doesn't mean that we don't have, critiques and discussions and, feedback sessions and things like that. And we also have small assignments and quizzes and readings, and I'm going to be lecturing a little bit, so it's just going to be kind of a mixture of many things. But Here's the letter grades. Just remember, in college, D's are not passing, so don't get a D, because you'll have to retake the class, or it won't count towards your requirements. So, this is the course schedule. You can look this over. It's subject to change a little bit. Every year it changes a little bit, just depending on the class, which I think is normal. But I mean, it's a pretty close outline of what we're going to be doing over the semester. I'm not going to go over it week by week, but you can take a look at it if you like. Late assignments are accepted, but they're cut down a letter grade for being tardy, and then every week that passes, your grade will drop by another grade, letter grade. So projects make up a really large percentage of your overall grade, so don't miss any projects. And when people are late with their work, especially when everyone seems to be late with their work, it's really kind of confusing for me to go in and try and track everything down and make sure everything is turned in. And so I just really appreciate when everybody gets their work in on time. It just makes grading like so much easier for me. I just really appreciate that. So just try to remember that, I really like it when you get your work in on time. So attendance, this is more for face-to-face students. If you're sick, just stay home. But it doesn't, I do want to, say that attendance is important, especially for those face-to-face students. I do keep track of your attendance in Brightspace. Fly in here, sorry. And I'll be giving face-to-face students an attendance grade at midterms and at the end of the year, and it will make up 10% of the quizzes, assignments, and discussions grade category, which basically works out to about 5% of your overall grade, and that would just be for the face-to-face students. Online students, I understand you signed up from the get-go for online, so, you're not required to be present, obviously. Obviously, if there's like genuine extenuating circumstances that require an extended time away, just let me know. We can talk about that and maybe come up with a solution, hopefully. Office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to noon. My office is in Pershing Hall 105. I'm generally available after class for at least an hour as well, so if you're just sticking around and you have some time after class, we can work on projects together if you have questions. I do that a lot with students. So this is the Academic Integrity and Misconduct Code. You can read that. This is the accessibility statement. Jonna Antonich is the coordinator, so if you need to get a hold of her, if you have a disability, and you need special things for that, you can get a hold of her. That's her contact information. Tutoring Central, they can help you with, writing, math, computer, some specific classes. Probably not so much this class. If you need help with the software or anything like that, you just ask me. Brightspace Technical Support, these guys are great. Jason, Brittany, they are both great to get a hold of. That's their contact information, so they can help you with Brightspace if you need help. So this is all subject to change. I do have a disclaimer here. But most of the time, though, the only thing that might change is the course schedule and maybe some of the projects slightly, but really this is what we're looking at for the semester. So really looking forward to it, and hopefully we have a great time, and I'll see you soon.